Hello, I'm Brett Knowles from PM2 Consulting. This vignette provides an overview of a simple process for understanding the linkage between operating units in a cascaded scorecard. So the first thing to understand is that as we cascade a scorecard, the metrics change. So for example, if we had a corporate life insurance strategy map, as we cascade it down to, say, the Western region, or marketing, HR, or even IT, they all have a different strategy map. The strategy map describes their contribution to the overall corporate objectives. To learn more about cascading, please listen to some of the other vignettes that are available. But the concept would be this. If we have an objective like understand our stakeholders, perhaps what the Western region is accountable for doing is helping us by understanding the business and the local economy. Marketing, on the other hand, their contribution is understanding our markets. Human resources, perhaps their job is to develop listening skills across the organization. And finally, maybe IT's job is to harvest data that comes from transactional systems such as the web. The net is the metrics shift across the organization. And as you build the strategy map, sometimes we begin to wonder whether we have these linkages correct or not. In this case, the actual strategy maps end up looking like this, where in many cases there are, in some cases, fewer objectives on the cascaded strategy map. In other cases, significantly more. So here's a simple process by which you can cross-check these. What we should be able to do is take one of those strategy maps and put it across the top, listing the strategic objectives and the weightings. And on the left, take another strategy map. Again, listing its strategic objectives and its weightings. And what we should be able to do is, working with the team, understand where the connection point is. Where does this team require support from this team in achieving this objective? And of course, which objective from their strategy map achieves it? In fact, you can take it a step further and indicate whether we feel that need is being fulfilled or under-fulfilled. In this way, we can begin to have a risk-free conversation about the linkages between the strategy maps. In some cases, we may find that a certain group is expecting support from a second group and they don't have that objective on their strategy map. So, in essence, we can discover the overlaps and underlaps. In fact, we can take it a step further if we take a look at their relative weighting. In this example, we have this team thinks a 2%er, whereas this team sees it to be 15. We can begin to see whether our support teams have the same relative focus on each objective that we have. These numbers can eventually be quantified, and we can begin to see what the level of agreement is between strategic priorities or disagreement. Now, this doesn't allow us to force a specific answer across the team, but it does open sort of a risk-free dialogue. Obviously, we can replicate this across multiple departments. Here, one represented in red, a second one in green, orange, and so forth. And we can begin to see systemic issues that happen either across all departments or within individual groups. The net of this is it allows us to cross-check the linkage and the cascade relationships that we think should be there. To learn more about this concept and others, please join us at pm2consulting.com.